She told me something that really, really bothered me deep down in my bones. She told me that she had blamed her own father. She had accused him of raping her because she was mad at him, and only recanted her story when he was about to go to prison. And then she recanted her story because she made the whole thing up when she was young, that she had done this to her father. There is only one fucking time you need to tell me who you are or show me who you are, and I'm gonna believe you the first time you believe me. Believe that to be true. That is all you have to do, is tell me that you will do something like that to your own father. I am not safe around being around you. Period. I
agree. I don't think that Rod nor anyone else is actually proud of anything Gypsy has done. I think they all put up with her because of the monetary gain that they received from putting up with her. If any of them actually gave a shit about Gypsy, they would have been involved in her life prior to this crime being committed. And they weren't. And to me, that shows that they didn't care. They thought that Dee Dee was doing the best job and what she had to do in order to take care of Gypsy. And if that meant scamming and conning people so that Rod didn't have to pay child support, so be it. Christy did not want Rod having a relationship with either one of his other children, which is why he didn't have a relationship with them. And as they moved further and further away, it got easier to make excuses. But I'm sorry, an hour drive is not that far if you truly want to see your children or child, especially knowing that you had a sick kid. So you cannot make me believe that Rod is a good, decent man, nor can you make me believe that Christy is a good, decent human being as well. She promoted Rod not having a relationship with Gypsy and with Nicolette. She wanted Rod all to herself, and that's what she got.
For those who missed the tea, let me catch you up. We previously covered how Gypsy Rose Blanchard is out here trying to rewrite her own narrative, and I'm not buying a single second of it. In her latest TikTok, she's playing the part of someone who just needed a little me time, claiming she ditched the app temporarily to focus on her family and mental health. Oh, please. She didn't delete TikTok to find inner peace. She was clearly ducking the heat from those leaked prison emails that have everyone buzzing. She had the nerve to reinstall the app just to post a video, acting like she's gracing us with her presence to reconnect with her adoring fans. Spare me. Those emails she's brushing off? She wants us to think they're relics from her reckless 20s, but they're from late 2023, barely a year and a half ago when she was 32. Not some naive teenager. It's infuriating how she's trying to pass off a calculated pattern of manipulation and deceit as youthful mistakes, and her flimsy excuses are crumbling faster than her credibility. In her video, Gypsy's all about contradictions, preaching about needing privacy while blasting her message to her followers, fishing for their loyalty with a side of fake gratitude. She's quick to say she loves her fans and appreciates their support, but it's a blatant tactic to keep them on her side while she dodges the real issue. Those emails aren't just some embarrassing diary entries. They expose a side of her that's been playing people like pawns, showing a consistent lack of accountability that's honestly unsettling.
I seriously feel like I just found the message where Gypsy Rose admits accidentally that she had her mother offed so that she could live her life. I'm going to read it to you. Tell me if you feel like she accidentally slipped up here as well, and if you think that this was a subtle threat to the person that she was sending the message to. We're going to start right here. I understand where you are coming from. However, I honestly feel you fail to see I am a 28-year-old woman, and yes, I have a traumatic past, but you treat me like I'm 15, the same as my mother did. Do you not see I am expressing myself? I am making my own choices for my life. The decision to marry aside, I am finding myself and discovering what I want. When I was a little girl and throughout my teen years and into adulthood, my dream was to be a wife and mother. It's so simple. But for me, at the time, an impossible dream, as my mother would never allow that to happen. She flat out told me, you will never get married, you will never have kids. There are some things that you will never do. I do not take kindly to others telling me how to live my life. Jip. By not taking things kindly, do you mean having them schmurdered because they are telling you how to live your life? Anyways, I'm going to move my big old head so that y'all can screenshot this.
And her claim that she was so much younger when she wrote them, total nonsense. They're from 2023, not 2005, and she was well into her 30s, not stumbling through her early 20s. The way she dismisses them, saying everyone's done things they regret, feels like a cheap attempt to wave away serious questions about her character. It's not just a misstep, it's a deliberate sidestep to avoid owning up to her actions. What really grinds my gears is how she's packaging this whole thing as a redemption arc, claiming she's in a new chapter of healing. Sure, Gypsy, we totally believe you stepped away from social media for self-care, and not because you were scrambling to control the narrative after those emails went viral. The timing is way too convenient, and her attempt to spin this as personal growth is as transparent as it gets. She's not clueless about the drama, as she calls it. She's just hoping her fans are too wrapped up in her story to call her out. Those emails aren't just juicy gossip. They're proof that the Gypsy Rose we've been sold as a sympathetic survivor might be more fiction than fact. It's exhausting to watch her keep up this act while refusing to take any real responsibility. So, if you're as done with her excuses as I am, stick around to the end of this video for more on this mess. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because, let's be honest, with Gypsy, there's always more drama around the corner. Maybe her next move will be selling us a self-help book on how to dodge accountability and still get likes.
Okay, y'all, Gypsy Rose is back to posting. She's posting on her story. She's posting on Instagram. She wants the world to know she's in Miami, Florida. Now, remember last week when Mia posted the bikini pictures and everybody went wild? There were some really mean people that left some crazy comments, but everybody was cheering for Mia and telling her how gorgeous she looks. Well, today, Gypsy Rose posted a picture and she wanted us to all see that back tattoo. She only left comments open for those who are going to praise and worship her. But of course, there had to be a bikini picture. And for someone who claims that she doesn't like the attention and she's just trying to live her life, why does she always tag herself wherever she's at? Funny, I never see any paparazzi or fans unless she tips off TMZ herself. Since they're so predictable and everybody's been posting about them still not being engaged and blah, 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 blah. How much you want to bet there's going to be a proposal video coming soon? Ken's going to do it up on the beach somehow. It's going to be all made for production. And somehow TMZ is going to be tipped off and there will be people there with cameras so she can make everybody think she's a superstar. Who wants to take this bet? Because you know good and well, predictable, guilty Rose, that's probably something like that is going to happen.
So, we previously covered how Gypsy Rose Blanchard tried to pull a fast one with her TikTok hiatus, and now she's back at it barely a week later, doubling down on the same tired playbook. She popped back onto the platform, acting like her brief disappearance was some profound act of self-care, when really it's looking more like a desperate attempt to clean up her image after those leaked prison emails set the internet ablaze. In her comeback video, she's all smiles and gratitude, claiming she only deleted TikTok to focus on her family and her so-called real life. But internet sleuths weren't buying it. They noticed she'd been quietly scrubbing videos during her supposed detox, which begs the question, was this really a break, or just a calculated move to wrestle control of a narrative that's slipping through her fingers? It's classic Gypsy, putting on a polished front, while the cracks in her story are glaringly obvious to anyone paying attention. In this video, she leans hard into the role of the reformed woman, thanking her followers for their unwavering support and insisting her little social media pause wasn't about abandoning them. Instead, she says it was about prioritizing her daughter, spending quality time with family, and grounding herself in what matters. Oh, and motherhood. Apparently that's her new North Star, and all the online backlash is just noise she's above. Her tone is so rehearsed, dripping with that influencer-style sincerity that feels like it was scripted to make us see her as mature, healed, and moving on from her messy past. But here's the thing. It's all a performance. The second she starts addressing those leaked emails, ones she conveniently claimed to be clueless about moments earlier, her whole I'm unbothered act falls apart. She brushes them off, saying they're from her 20s, as if that excuses everything.
I don't understand why I have to be different. I don't understand what makes me different. Because to me, I'm just another average bear. And I guess I'm getting a huge culture shock. So, I do not feel free right now. I feel like I am in a different form of prison.
That girl has been manipulating since the day she stepped out of prison, honey. It has never stopped. She was upset in this clip because Missouri He told her to get the hell on down, get back to Louisiana. She's feeling like, oh, I'm being targeted. I'm just an average bear. You are not paroled out to Missouri. As long as you are in Missouri, you are their problem. They didn't want that. They wanted your ass in Louisiana. They'd had you for the last, 20-something years. Look what you did while you was there. They did not want you there, girl. You didn't want to be an average bear when you got out. You had TMZ on speed dial, going everywhere you were going. You had Ryan thinking y'all were randomly being followed when you had TMZ following y'all, girl. And the whole, I feel like I'm not free, in another prison. Y'all haven't noticed by now that is one of her main manipulation tactics. She went to prison and said, oh, this is like freedom. Probably because she was able to rights all them men and all that junk. And she gets out, and because she's not allowed to go to a Kansas City Chiefs game and try to finagle her way into meeting another fucking celebrity, using her new grip that I'm a victim of Munchausen by proxy. She says she's in a new prison. Didn't get the sympathy gift she was wanting. You know what Gypsy Rose's culture shock was? Being told no. Being told to get the hell out of Missouri and get your ass on down to Louisiana. Not only that, y'all know she was trying to get like box seats so that her camera crew wouldn't be an issue. No, she's just an average bear. It's my first time watching this part of Prison Confessions, and I just don't even understand how people don't see how manipulative she is. I just don't get it.
Newsflash, those emails are from 2023, when she was 32, not some impulsive 20-year-old. Her attempt to wave them away by comparing them to a personal diary everyone would be embarrassed by is such a weak dodge. It's not about embarrassment, it's about a pattern of manipulation that's still very much alive. What's maddening is how she tries to spin this into a growth story, preaching about learning and maturing like she's delivering a TED Talk on personal development. She admits to doing stupid stuff then and now, but insists it's all part of her journey. Sure, Gypsy, we're all supposed to clap for your self-awareness while you sidestep any real accountability. The contradiction is glaring. She claims she's above the drama, yet here she is, directly addressing the emails she said she wasn't sweating. It's like watching someone try to juggle lies while pretending they're just holding a casual conversation. Her whole, I'm growing, I'm doing what's right for me mantra feels like a rehearsed line to keep her fans hooked, but it's not fooling anyone who's been following this saga. Those emails aren't just a peek into her past, they're a neon sign pointing to a consistent lack of honesty that she's still leaning into.
According to an email that Gypsy Rose sent, Ryan's family and friends had clocked her for the piece of trash that she was. Correction, the piece of trash she is, in my opinion. In this email, she says, I feel like I don't fit with Ryan's family. Like they accept me only because of him making it so. They are a nice Christian family with good morals, and I am the girl from the dirty side of the tracks, you know? No lies detected in that first paragraph. Even in the beginning, Ryan's friends always would discourage him, making comments like, be careful, she's using you. Even to this day, his brother says comments like, she will come out of prison and have another guy in the house so fast, you're a fool, blah, 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 and some more ignorant crap. She then goes on to say that Ryan's brother is a total loser who has been in the jail scene himself, and she's being talked down about by a dopehead. Girl, you do know you were found guilty for murder, right? For me, I'd say on a level of morality, dope is not bad compared to murder. I also found this sentence right here really interesting where she says, I'm not a bad person and I'm not using anyone. Your prison emails determined that's a lie, girlie. You was using everybody. But anyways, she then says, I may not be high quality. Girl, you're not. There's no may about it. But she feels like she's not prison trash just because she made one mistake. Girl, why are you talking about this like you stole something from the store and didn't murder somebody?
Gypsy Rose Blanchard's so-called TikTok break was more about dodging the fallout from her leaked prison emails than finding some zen moment with her family, and now she's doubling down with the same tired excuses. In her latest video, she's got the gall to act like those emails, ones that expose her ongoing pattern of manipulation, are just some old diary entries from her wild 20s. She's out here saying, who hasn't done embarrassing stuff? As if that's enough to brush off the serious questions those messages raise. But let's be clear, these aren't from a decade ago when she was a naive kid. They're from 2023, when she was 32 years old, fully aware and just months away from leaving prison. Her attempt to pin it all on her youth is beyond ridiculous. It's a blatant lie meant to keep her fans from digging deeper into the truth she's so desperate to bury. Gypsy's whole I was in my 20s defense falls apart when you do the math. She was born in 1991, so in 2023, she was 32, not some confused 20-something. And those emails, They're not just random cringeworthy moments. They show her actively engaging in the same BDSM roleplay she's long claimed her ex Nick forced her into.
Well, I just read one of the most disturbing emails Gypsy Rose wrote. And in it, she's talking about Nicholas Godejohn's mother and how she passed away of an OD the week of the anniversary of the crime. And what does Gypsy say? She says part of her feels sympathy. The other part feels that it's karma because Nicholas Godejohn deleted her mother. But let's rewind for a second. Nicholas Godejohn is autistic, level 2. He has the mind of a teenager and no criminal record. Now, I'm not taking up for what he did, but I think we need to keep that in mind, as well as the huge role that GRB played in the whole thing. Gypsy Rose broomed Nicholas Godejohn for 2 years, and we see that in the evidence that we have from the case files, the video transcripts that she sent to him. She sought out somebody vulnerable. This is what she said. She was asked, do you think you sought out somebody vulnerable to do this for you? And she said, I probably did. When he offered that they run away together, she said no.
For years, she's painted herself as the victim, saying Nick coerced her into those behaviors. But these messages tell a different story, one where she's not just a participant, but an enthusiastic one. It's not about the fact that she was emailing people. It's the pattern that emerges across her messages to Nick, Dan, and random strangers. She's not the helpless figure she wants us to see. She's someone who's been crafting a narrative to make Nick the sole villain while conveniently sidestepping her own role. And the hypocrisy. She had no issue airing Nick's messages to paint him as the bad guy, but the second her own emails leak, suddenly it's a violation of her privacy. The double standard is glaring, and it's infuriating to watch her play the victim card when it suits her. What's even more grating is how she tries to wrap this all in a neat little bow of personal growth. She compares the leaked emails to a personal diary as if they were private thoughts never meant for the world. But these weren't scribbles in a locked journal. They were messages she chose to send, sometimes through monitored platforms, knowing full well they could be seen. That diary analogy isn't just weak, it's a manipulative tactic to flip the script from accountability to her being the one wronged. She leans into this soft, vulnerable tone, saying everyone does dumb things when they're young, and she's still learning, still growing. It's like she's trying to narrate her way out of the mess in real time, throwing in self-help buzzwords about maturity and transformation to keep her fans on her side. But it's not working. The emails expose a side of Gypsy that's calculated and unapologetic, and no amount of I'm maturing talk can erase that.
She said the only way that they could be together is if he did the act. That is the only way. Again, she planned this for 2 years. She did the role play. She created the characters to further broom him, seduce him. She conditioned him. She literally put the sharp object in his hands. And now he's sitting in prison doing a life sentence without parole while she got a 10-year plea deal. She walked out to sympathetic media, a bunch of fans, a Lifetime show, and a TikTok following. She totally launched herself off of this false narrative that was created by the defense team. Do you know what's an easy way to figure that one out? Well, in her interrogation, schmabuse was mentioned 0 times. In all of the correspondence we have seen between her and Nicholas Godejohn, schmabuse was also never mentioned. In fact, she said her mother made her sit in a wheelchair so they could get money from charity, money and benefits. And she actually said that it was karma that his mother passed away. Karma. That is so incredibly dark. And look below it at whoever responded to it. But the truth is, he is in there doing life without the possibility of parole. He is doing her time too. And this email is exactly who GRB is. She showed exactly who she is.
Let's dive deeper into this mess, because she's still out here spinning lies like it's her full-time job. Those emails, which she's trying to dismiss as ancient history, are from late 2023. Barely a year and a half ago, when she was 32, not some wide-eyed 20-year-old. She's acting like these messages were scribbled in a diary back in 2005, but no, they're fresh, and they expose a side of her she's worked hard to keep buried. It's not just that she's lying about her age to dodge accountability, it's the fact that she's been caught red-handed and still thinks she can charm her way out of it. And don't get me started on her TikTok antics, claiming she's been off the platform while quietly changing her profile picture twice and deleting videos like nobody's watching. Girl, we see you. Nobody cares if you're scrolling TikTok, but why lie about it? It's just another layer of deception that makes her whole "I'm taking a break from my family" story feel like a poorly rehearsed script. In the comments of her latest video, Gypsy tries to double down, insisting that everything from her past is over and done with, and that her family is now in a good place, standing strong together. It's like she's reading from a PR playbook, trying to sell this image of unity and redemption. But it's so curated. It's practically screaming damage control. Viewers aren't falling for it because this isn't about some embarrassing teenage phase. The content of those emails paints a picture that's miles away from the victim narrative she's been pushing for years. These aren't just oopsies or bad judgment calls. They reveal a consistent pattern of emotional manipulation and deceit that's far more troubling. Specifically, the emails show her diving headfirst into explicit BDSM roleplay. Not as someone being coerced, but as someone who's fully engaged, detailed, and clearly enjoying the power dynamic.
Nicholas Godejohn and Cornerstone Nation from their YT channel have released a never-before-seen clip of Gypsy Rose Blanchard that she sent to Nick while her mother and her stopped at a comic book store to pick up a comic book that she had to have. Notice I said that for a reason, because in this specific video, she very clearly says that she just had to have her comic book, and they stopped at Barnes & Noble. She's spoiled rotten, basically, is what it sounds like. While her mother is in Barnes & Noble's, she's in the vehicle, and she takes the time to make a maybe 2-minute video. She sends it to Nick. In this video, not only is Gypsy sending a video to Nick, Damona is also sending a video to Nick. So with that being said, I'm going to let you hear it. I also want to add that the sound and music in the background is not mine. It is from Cornerstone Nation, and as the Fair Use Act, hopefully I'm able to use that. So hopefully this doesn't get taken down. You can also go watch it on MPG Cornerstone Nation's YT channel. Anyway, I'm going to play that now.
Okay, baby, so right now, it is me, the shrew, and I can tell you why I'm not filming me right now. It's because I'm too embarrassed of what I'm wearing. It's, I look like really silly right now, so we're on our way home, by the way, from Kansas City. We stopped at Barnes & Noble because I need my comic book, because yes, I do read comic books. I read the Star Wars and Star Trek comic books, so I needed my new comic. Anyway, yeah, I'm filming the dashboard. Anyway, it is me, the shrew, speaking right now, and so I'll let Damona talk for a little while with me. Here she is. Hey, two sexies. Right now we're at Barnes & Noble, as the shrew said, and we're getting her comic book. And I'll show you a little bit, even though he doesn't want me to, and of what we're wearing right now. It's really embarrassing. It's like putting a pink bow on a Rottweiler. So, anyway, we'll say this from the both of us. We love and adore you, our amazing sweethearts, and our amazing kings. We love and adore you both so much. So, many kisses from both of us.
This is a big deal because Gypsy has built her public image on the claim that her ex, Nick, forced her into that lifestyle, painting herself as a groomed and traumatized victim. But these 2023 messages show her initiating, not hesitating, and reveling in the exchanges with a comfort that contradicts everything she's told us. What's infuriating is how she's trying to rewrite history to keep Nick as the sole villain. For years, she's leaned into this story of being coerced, using it to distance herself from any responsibility. But these emails, written when she was a grown woman nearing her release from prison, show no trace of coercion. She wasn't some confused 19-year-old searching for identity. She was 32, fully aware, and actively shaping these interactions. The fact that she's still clinging to the "I was in my 20s" excuse is not just a lie, it's an insult to everyone who's followed her story expecting some shred of honesty. And the hypocrisy? She had no problem exposing Nick's messages to make him look like the bad guy, but when her own emails leak, suddenly it's a violation of her privacy. The double standard is exhausting, and it's clear she's banking on her fans' loyalty to overlook the truth staring them in the face.
Now, I do want to add that was not the full video. You can go watch the full thing on the MPG Cornerstone Nation YT channel. That was just the specific clip that I mentioned where Gypsy is making the clip whenever her mother, Dee Dee, is walking into the comic book store to get her must-needed comic book. It just goes to show in that video of how, number one, spoiled that she is. How did she have a phone with her? If a working phone at that, because mind you, okay, Mind you, she wasn't just using a like phone with hooked up to Wi-Fi. It clearly seems to me like she had a actual working phone that her mother paid for or put minutes on, or, you know, had service on it. However she did it. It wasn't just a phone laying around that Gypsy had hidden and she couldn't use it because there was no service. Because, mind you, they're at a store in the car somewhere and it's working. So she either had a phone and her mother knew about it, or maybe she took her mother's phone out of the car or purse or wherever she had it and used it then. But it just seems to me like there wouldn't have been enough time for her to do all that. She would send it to Nick and then like delete it. But maybe, but you know what? I don't think so. I believe Dee Dee had bought or knew Gypsy had a phone, clearly. And right then and there, she could have jumped out the car. She could have called 911. That's what she could have did. She could have called her dad. She could have called a friend, another family member, whoever. But instead, her and Damona chose to make a video and send it to Nick. So I'll leave it at that. You make your own decision of what you think. Let me know. Have a great day.
Now, let's unpack the even uglier layers of this saga, because these emails don't just show a one-off mistake. They expose a calculated, recurring pattern that's impossible to ignore. Gypsy wasn't just engaging in explicit BDSM roleplay with Nick. She was having nearly identical exchanges with another man, Dan. Using the same controlling language, themes, and power dynamics. This wasn't a fleeting phase or some confused, youthful exploration. It was a deliberate, consistent choice to wield control through fantasy and deception. These emails aren't just bad decisions. They're proof that Gypsy has been meticulously shaping her public image, from courtroom defenses to TV interviews to her carefully curated social media presence. No matter how many heartfelt TikTok videos she posts, the receipts are screaming louder than her claims of growth ever could. What's particularly chilling is how these emails reveal Gypsy's comfort with exploiting vulnerable people for her own gain. One thread shows her financially dominating a 15-year-old fan who worshipped her to the point of calling her a goddess. This wasn't a casual interaction. It was a calculated power imbalance where Gypsy methodically cultivated a parasocial relationship, convincing this teenager to send her $200 a month. And let's be clear, Gypsy wasn't scraping by. She had income from book royalties, documentary deals, and support from her then-husband, Ryan. This wasn't about needing the money. It was about craving the control.
It's been theorized many times that Ryan had access to Gypsy's money and he used it and he controlled it while she was in prison. However, I have proof that's not true. Here's an email from her dad where he says that he would not be comfortable with revoking the power of attorney till after she is released. He does offer to send Ryan some money so that he can get their apartment and stuff set up. He also says that he knows he's late most of the time sending her money and stuff. Sorry. But technically, Gypsy is paying him back because Gypsy has said that he sends her $200 every month while she was in prison. And that had he married any other prisoner, they would have had no money. So she is not going to go all in with her assets. And maybe he would give it back to her after a year under their belt. And Gypsy responds, and I found one sentence in her response very interesting because she says, Ryan has never asked me for money. Anyways, here's the whole email if you want to screenshot it.
When the payments were late or missed, she'd send guilt trip messages, subtly pressuring the fan to fulfill her duties. It's not just manipulative. It's emotional extortion dressed up as a connection, and the fact that she targeted a minor makes it all the more disturbing. Her ease with this dynamic speaks volumes about how comfortably she operates in these predatory power plays. And then there's her treatment of Ryan, her ex-husband, which adds another layer of cold calculation to her character. In the emails, she speaks of him with a dismissive, almost cruel tone, admitting she wasn't physically attracted to him and only married him as a safety net for life after prison. She describes him as sweet but not desired, reducing their marriage to a strategic move rather than a genuine partnership. It's not just that she used him, it's that she's so cavalier about it, laying bare a mindset that sees relationships as tools to secure her own comfort. These revelations aren't from a distant past. They're from 2023, when she was 32 and fully aware of her choices. Her attempts to spin this as a new chapter of healing feel hollow when stacked against this pattern of deceit and exploitation.
Do y'all remember when Gypsy Rose just got out of prison and everybody thought she was a sweet little butterfly who wanted peace and quiet? Well, baby, she was in full-on PR mode from prison, and I got the receipts to prove it. So 1980s Millennial posted this, and child, the tea is sweet. Now, this email is from October 27th of 2023, contrary to when she said she wrote these things in her 20s. So this is before Gypsy even stepped foot out of those prison gates, okay? And what she's doing is strategizing, pitching her story, and feeding TMZ her own narrative through a source, which is really just her pretending to act like she's somebody else in third party. She literally wrote, "I would appreciate you using a source, as I don't want to breach my NDA." Girl, that's like saying I robbed the bank, but please tell them I wore a mask. And then she name drops Taylor Swift like this is some teenage dream fan club letter. My husband and I got the Chiefs tickets for December 31st, and I'm hoping to see her there. She was manifesting a meet and greet in the same email where she's breaking her NDA. Child.
Gypsy's hypocrisy is on full display, and it's worse than you might think. She's out here clutching her pearls, acting like the leak of her emails is some grand violation of her privacy, comparing them to a personal diary being exposed. But let's not forget, she had no problem airing her ex-husband Ryan Anderson's personal medical information just weeks ago, splashing it across social media like it was her right to share. And years back, she eagerly published Nick Godejohn's emails to paint him as the sole villain in her story. Privacy? Consent? Those only seem to matter when it's her own secrets on the line. The double standard is so blatant it's almost laughable, but it's also a stark reminder of how she weaponizes information to control her narrative while crying foul when the tables turn. The emails themselves, over 1,000 pages, mind you, are a goldmine of troubling behavior. And they're not from some distant teenage phase. Take the Goddess Gypsy thread from 2023, sent just months before her prison release. In these messages, she's calling a fan her loyal, obedient servant, demanding $50 weekly payments with lines like, "You don't get to walk away from your goddess," when the fan, who was shockingly only 15, discovered Gypsy was married and stopped sending money. Gypsy didn't back off. She doubled down, guilt-tripping them to keep the cash flowing.
Let me be clear. This wasn't a leak. This wasn't a slip up. This was carefully planned media play from prison. Meanwhile, the rest of the world out here crying, thinking she was just a survivor from the beginning and just trying to start over. So next time you wonder how Gypsy Rose ended up with a docuseries, a book, a glow-up makeover, and stadium-level publicist, just remember this email was sent before she even packed her stuff up in her cell. Prison didn't stop the PR and the NDA. It was just a suggestion, apparently.
And no, she wasn't desperate for funds. She had $200 monthly from her parents, support from Ryan, and income from her book and documentary deals. This was about power, not survival, and her comfort manipulating a minor into financial submission is chilling. It's not just a one-off, it's part of a broader pattern where she wrote to multiple men, openly admitting she wasn't attracted to Ryan but married him for stability, treating relationships like chess moves to secure her future. Then there's the jaw-dropping betrayal of her father's partner, Christy. While Christy confided in Gypsy about her struggles with Rod's infidelity, Gypsy wasn't just a sympathetic ear. She was actively encouraging Rod's affair behind Christy's back. This wasn't a naive misstep. It was deliberate, two-faced chaos stoking, with Gypsy playing both sides for her own amusement or gain. These aren't the actions of someone stumbling through emotional confusion. They're the choices of a woman in her 30s, fully aware and reveling in the drama she creates. When the truth comes out, though, she pivots, as always, to her go-to script: trauma, youth, and a supposed journey of self-improvement. But these emails, sent willingly through monitored prison systems, aren't private diaries. They're deliberate communications that expose her for who she is. She had no issue dragging Nick, Ryan, or Christy through the mud when it served her, but when her own words surface, suddenly she's the victim.
One thing about Gypsy, she's gonna give a guy a nickname. Here's some messages where she's talking to a guy that's not Ken. In December and November of 2018. She says, "Thinking of you tonight. Good night, Mr. GQ Mod." And the guy responds back, he's like, "GQ Mod, please, you girls and your low standards." And then starts talking about good songs to FUCK to. She then goes on to say, "I have a suspicion. I think Blake is the phone problem. We got into it tonight because he was being Mr. Territorial. Note to self, don't mention you in a convo again." She also refers to them, Ken and this other guy, as boyfriend number 1 and boyfriend number 2. She also sent out this message after Ken shut her down schmexually, and she said, I was thinking we could be of a benefit to one another. You're single and I have zero smex life with Ken and was shut down last night. Now he wants to dodge the topic because he knows I am slightly uncomfortable with him. But instead of working it out, he totally shut me down like I'm too tired style or some other time. So perhaps we could utilize this attraction between us. If the moment arises, I'm perfectly comfortable with you, so what's up? And that guy responds the next day, and I found this part funny. I can't believe the corny Turkish toad Kenan turned you down.
Now, let's wade into the latest swirl of online rumors, which allege a dramatic fallout with her father, Rod Blanchard, over these very emails. It's being whispered across platforms like X and Reddit that Rod, whom Gypsy disturbingly called pimp juice in their eyebrow-raising exchanges, has allegedly disowned her, claiming she's ruined his life by exposing his cheating on Christy. These rumors suggest his marriage to Christy, his wife of over 20 years, is now on the rocks. All because Gypsy's emails laid bare his infidelity. Let's be clear, these are unverified claims, mere speculation floating in the digital ether, and we sincerely hope they're not true. But for now, this is the chatter, and it paints a grim picture of family ties fraying under the weight of Gypsy's words. According to these unconfirmed rumors, the emails where Gypsy and Rod discussed his cheating, complete with that jarring pimp juice nickname, have humiliated Christy and fractured their family. Sources on social media claim Rod feels betrayed, accusing Gypsy of recklessly sharing their private exchanges without considering the devastation they'd cause. Christy, who once called Gypsy the daughter she always wanted in interviews and stood by her through prison and parole, is said to be heartbroken, with some posts suggesting she's questioning her entire relationship with Gypsy. The couple, who have 2 children together and were a visible pillar of support for Gypsy post-release, reportedly face a marriage in crisis, with Rod allegedly cutting ties to salvage what's left of his family. These claims, though, remain unverified, and we're crossing our fingers. They're just internet noise. Gypsy's history of exposing others, like Nick Godejohn's messages or Ryan Anderson's medical details, while crying foul over her own leaked emails, adds fuel to the speculation that she's no stranger to airing dirty laundry, but it's all hearsay until confirmed. Again, we hope this is just online gossip run amok, but it underscores how Gypsy's actions, real or rumored, keep sparking chaos. For now, these are just rumors, and we'll be back with more when the story shifts. Hopefully, it's with better news than this.
I agree. I don't think that Rod nor anyone else is actually proud of anything Gypsy has done. I think they all put up with her because of the monetary gain that they received from putting up with her. If any of them actually gave a shit about Gypsy, they would have been involved in her life prior to this crime being committed. And they weren't. And to me, that shows that they didn't care. They thought that Dee Dee was doing the best job and what she had to do in order to take care of Gypsy. And if that meant scamming and conning people so that Rod didn't have to pay child support, so be it. Christy did not want Rod having a relationship with either one of his other children, which is why he didn't have a relationship with them. And as they moved further and further away, it got easier to make excuses. But I'm sorry, an hour drive is not that far if you truly want to see your children or child, especially knowing that you had a sick kid. So you cannot make me believe that Rod is a good, decent man. Nor can you make me believe that Christy is a good, decent human being as well. She promoted Rod not having a relationship with Gypsy and with Nicolette. She wanted Rod all to herself, and that's what she got. They're both shitty people. And I've said it once before, I know that Gypsy is incredibly resentful of Christy and Mia and Dylan. She blames her mother in some weird way, like it's her mom's fault that she was sick. And she gives her dad a pass. And that's because Gypsy is very male focused. And I'm sure that if Gypsy has already moved out of their home, they are relieved that she is gone. I can almost guarantee that they will not have interactions with her unless it involves the baby or somehow making money. You let me know what you think.
Thanks for watching this deep dive into Gypsy's tangled web. Hope you have a great day. If you're as fed up with her contradictions as I am, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next update. Check out our other videos for more on this saga, because with Gypsy, the truth keeps slipping out, one email at a time. Maybe her next evolution will be learning that you can't rewrite the past when the receipts are this loud.